at Stonewall, as Ishmael just said. Thanks very much for asking us to get involved with First Love Project. As Ishmael again said, we're working on the equal marriage campaign at the moment, so same-sex couples can get married too. Yay! Love is very much in the air at Stonewall, so this was right on message for us, so we're very excited to be involved. Will you show them and then I'll talk about them together, is that okay? Thanks.
2, 3, 4. My first love. Who was my first love? Well, my first love wasn't a boy from school, or more aptly a girl from school. The first time I ever felt love, or thought that I felt love, was for a celluloid icon, namely River Phoenix. Now, I don't know whether it was his hard boy vulnerability in Stand By Me, or as he grew older, his beautifully flawless face and his amazing hair. But whatever it was, I loved him. I really, really loved him. I felt this love for him, or it was probably more an obsession, but I didn't really know the difference back then. My walls were plastered with his face, and I took great pleasure of him beautifully watching over me as I slept. So obviously, on Halloween 1993, I know the date exactly, my tiny heart broke when I heard the news of his passing, and I couldn't really understand the facts surrounding his untimely death, but all I knew was that a light had gone out in the world that could never be replaced, and I was inconsolable. But being the 13-year-old girl that I was then, I was obviously very fickle, because about a month later my walls were plastered with someone else's face, and that person was Slash from Guns N' Roses. An obvious choice, I hear you say. Now, I don't know whether it was the fact that I could never see his face, or if it was his massive hair. Whatever it was, I was completely obsessed. In hindsight, it all makes sense, because if you take the beautiful, almost feminine face of River Phoenix, coupled with the huge hair of Slash, the two combined would have made a very beautiful woman. And all that being said, 3 short years later, I realised that I was a raving girl lover. And 16 years on, I still haven't met the Phoenix cum Slash-esque woman off my 13-year-old self's dreams. I'm starting to think she doesn't exist, but I guess all I can do is live in hope.
You say you love me more.
Who was your first love, Lizzie?
My first love is my girlfriend, the woman I'm with right now. Her name's Rachel, and we met when I was at uni, and it took a while for me to sort of realize that she was actually my first love, because I had relationships before her, and they were all with men. And so my first love story is kind of also my coming out story, in that it sort of dawned on me gradually that I had never had this kind of connection with anyone I dated before, although they were all very nice guys, no offense, but it just kind of occurred to me that actually she understands me better than anyone else I know. We have so much fun together, and yeah, we just kind of, I think we just kind of get each other, and I hadn't really had that before with any guy, so being with her has made me really realize that I'm a big ol' les, and I really enjoy spending time with her, and yeah, so my first love is my current love.
Shook it up. I never loved nobody fully. Always 1 foot on the ground. And by protecting my heart truly, I got lost in the sounds I hear in my mind. All of these voices I hear in my mind. All of these words I hear in my mind. All of this music, and it breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart. When it breaks my heart. Suppose I never ever met you. Suppose we never fell in love. voices. Gonna get better, gonna get better, 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 better. Never loved nobody fully. Always 1 foot on the ground. And by protecting my heart truly, I got lost in the sounds I hear in my mind. All of these voices I hear in my mind. All of these words I hear in my mind. All of this music, and it breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart. I hear in my mind all of these voices I hear in my mind. All of these words I hear in my mind. All of this music, and it breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart. When it breaks my heart, when it breaks my heart, when it breaks my heart, breaks my heart, when it breaks my heart, when it breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart, when it breaks my heart.
That last one's more moving when it's less fuzzy. I found watching it at home. Anyhow, so I work with young people at Stonewall. So when I was watching all the First Love videos, that's the kind of lens I was looking at them through. This idea of how can these kind of internet campaigns impact gay young people and in what way. And the 2 clips that I picked kind of brought up 2 themes for me. First of all, the power that's given to the voices and stories that we hear in mainstream media, in film, in television, newspapers, the media that we consume every day. And secondly, the kind of silencing and marginalisation of gay people in culture. So the first one, I think I was drawn to it because I like her lipstick and eyebrows, but also when I watched it, her story really matches mine actually. It really mirrors. My first love was the girl that I fell in love with at university, and like her, I had other guys before, but it wasn't really the same. And as a gay person, I hadn't really had that recognition before, because growing up, lesbian representation in media was so far and few between, and when it was out there, it wasn't something that I could identify with. So the internet is the only space that really I and lots of other gay people, including of course gay young people growing up, can actually go and find that identification. But we did some research at Stonewall looking at the coverage of gay and lesbian people and the issues affecting them in the television that young people most watch. And we found that firstly, there's hardly any representation at all. And secondly, when there is some, it's usually pretty negative, and it just reinforces outdated and really unhelpful stereotypes about the gay community. And the internet's really important because that's a place where gay young people can go and they can find videos like this and have that experience that I had watching that woman, thinking, wow, that's like me. If that's what lesbians are like, then maybe there's a chance I am one, because growing up it was like Rosie O'Donnell or Ellen, and you know, so there's more diversity of representation out there. So the internet is really important for that. And then the second one, it was such a lovely clip. It's so, you know, it's just so creative, the little story and the music. And I just thought the internet is such an important platform for gay people, queer people, whatever, to share their creativity. And often that is marginalised within mainstream culture and society. So if you think about, for example, in schools, when gay young people are learning there, they might come across poetry that's written by lesbians, or they might come across art that's created by gay men, whatever. But often they're not actually told the sexuality of the work that, you know, the people who created the work that they're encountering. So they actually grow up in this vacuum of just gay contribution, basically. There was a better term, I'm sure, for that, but you know, they grow up thinking that we haven't contributed in any important way to history, culture, society. And the internet, again, is such a vital space, because it's somewhere that gay people can share their creativity, and we can go on and witness that. And we do. Statistically, gay people, we visit websites a lot more frequently than straight people, especially blogs, we frequent them a lot more. So it's a really important space for us to engage with. But politically, I think it's slightly problematic that is, you know, it's wonderful that that space is there, but actually we need more coverage in mainstream media as well, and that is equally or even more important in some ways, because if we're relying on the internet to get that identification, it's just us going there. And that's why I picked that last YouTube clip, because if you remember the big struggle around Proposition 8, like we're having with the equal marriage debate now, all the homophobes come out and they start telling us that love between same-sex people is unnatural, it's sinful, you know, it's not normal, it's not the same. We're not allowed to celebrate or have a legal commitment of our love in the same way as straight people. And actually, sometimes in that political debate, the human story is a little bit lost. And the internet was so important in the Proposition 8 struggle, because that's, you know, this was just one video that was really popular at the time. But so many other videos were made, and people were saying it's not just a law, actually this is real people, real love, real relationships. All those couples were going to get divorced, not because they fell out of love, but because lawmakers and just small-minded people think that their love was not as valid because it's two people of the same sex who are in that relationship. And the internet was such a good campaign tool to actually tell the human side of that story. So it is, you know, these things are important. The internet is such an important space for the gay community, but we need to push that coverage into mainstream media as well, because otherwise gay young people are only growing up with that identification, sitting in their bedroom looking at the internet when their parents aren't around. Actually, they need to see gay people in the newspapers their parents read, and the television programmes that they watch at prime time television, the films that they go and all the money is thrown at. They need to go and see gay identity there. That's how we're going to help them and help, you know, as a community, just feel not other, not separate, not like we have to go elsewhere for identification. We are part of that culture and society as well, and we need to see ourselves represented in all forms of media. So the internet is great, but I think that, you know, a big priority for Stonewall is pushing for fair, accurate and broad representation of our lives and loves in all forms of media, and it will continue to be one of our vital campaigns alongside the stuff we do online until we achieve that. So great, but you know, we've got to keep going with the rest of media as well. Thanks.